Dividend Chasers, it's the Dividend Bloodhound here again with another investing video. Just want to get this out there straight away. If you like what you see or you like the video, please give that like button a smash and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Today we're going to talk about two of my investment accounts, Funding Circle and, well, three actually, Funding Circle and Freetrade and Trading 212. I use those two for the same sorts of things. Right, so we're going to talk about my decision to move most of my holdings from Funding Circle into either Freetrade or Trading 212. I've given this decision a lot of thought. It's taken me a long time to come to this conclusion, but I believe I've made the right call now, and slowly over time, I'm not going to do it all straight away in one big lump. I'm going to do it gradually, a few £100 at a time, move my money from Funding Circle into Trading 212 or Freetrade. And my reasons for this are highlighted here. Oh, just to re-mention it, I have £3,000 in Funding Circle. I'm going to move most of that money into the other two accounts. I am going to leave some money in Funding Circle because it has made me some money over the years, but I just don't think I've had enough of a return on my investment to warrant it when you've got potentially bigger investments and bigger gains just around the corner here. So if I go through Funding Circle first, it's if you've watched my other videos back at the start where I reviewed the Funding Circle app, it's a peer-to-peer lending account. So you lend businesses money, and then over time, over a period of about 4 years, they pay you that money back, segment by segment, and the interest rate depends on the risk involved. So a higher risk company could return you up to 15% interest, but also there's a higher chance of losing your money. And that brings me on to some of my points here. So your principal is actually reasonably safe. It doesn't go up and down in value, it stays the same, and your interest is paid on that. And then the principal actually decreases in value as it gets paid off back to you with the interest. So you get less interest on that over time, which is another important point. The interest rate is also static, it doesn't fluctuate, so you will get a set percentage. If it's 6%, you will get 6% on the decrease in returns over time as the principal's paid back to you. And I did reasonably well off it, to be fair. I made, over 6 years, I made almost 400. I made £400, £415 net profit after fees and bad debt. I actually made gross. I've actually made nearly £900. Now, what's missing from that is £300 in bad debt. This is money where businesses have gone bankrupt or they've not been able to pay their loans, and I'm having to wait for that money. But at the moment, it counts as a loss on my account. And some of them have been that way for a very long time now, up to 18 months, where I haven't received any money back from my original principal invested. Now, you invest in lumps of 20, so it's not like you're losing vast sums of money. But as you can see there, they do build up. It's taken 6 years to get to that point, and I would like to point out that I have made £400, £415 in cold hard profit, basically, for that. So you do speculate to accumulate. But as I said, it has taken some time to do so. Another slightly bad point, it depends on how wealthy you are, to be fair. £100 minimum investment each time you pay in. So you have to pay in £100 or you can't pay a minimum of, or you can't pay in at all. Now some months, not so much now, but some months throughout my career, I never had that. I only had £30 or £40. Now, if I had Freetrade or Trading 212, that would do. I could buy a good few stocks with that. Of the anything that's below £40 or $40, I could get in there, I could buy one and just park it for another day and receive dividends off it. Whereas with this, that opportunity was missed. I could have put it into a savings account, but at the same time, it sort of fritters away. Yeah, so it's not been bad, but it's not been as good as it could be, or the potential that I think Freetrade and Trading 212 offer. So with these investment accounts, investing in stocks and shares, the value of what you'll hold can go up and down as well. That can appreciate as well as the dividends that you're getting paid against it. So it's like if you to apply that to Funding Circle, your payment loan doesn't decrease unless the stock price decreases, and the dividend that you get back actually increases instead of staying static. So to me, that's like a double win. You're going to get appreciation, and you're going to get a bigger and bigger and bigger dividend over time. And I'm planning on holding this for the long term, hence why this has been for 6 years. I think you'd get if I get more return for my money in Freetrade and trading 212 than I would continuing in Funding Circle. You got massive variety in trading 212 and Freetrade. You got American stocks across the S&P 500. You've got shares in the FTSE 100, and then on trading 212 you can either get into the French, Spanish, German, and the Netherlands markets. So there's loads and loads of opportunity to spread your money amongst different countries, different ETFs, etc. And I think that offers more than solely investing in UK businesses, SMEs that are on the teetering edge of making money or not making money, depending on how long they've been trading. So I believe over time, 6 years, if we were to fast forward 6 years, I believe I will get more out of having it in Freetrade and trading 212 than I will leaving it in Funding Circle. So I'm just trying to grow my money as best I can, but I'm investing for income. That's my sole purpose. I want to retire early, essentially. So I want these accounts to pay my debts in the future, or my expenses, should I say. That is the whole point of doing this. And the way I see it, I just don't think Funding Circle can offer that for me. The reason I use Freetrade and Trading 212 is they offer like some stocks are on Trading 212 and some aren't on Freetrade, and vice versa. So I use a mixture of both. I use the ISA on Freetrade, and then I use the normal account on Trading 212. So the stocks like Altria, Iron Mountain, Reality Income that are on Trading 212, but they're not on Freetrade, unfortunately. But I do like using both, and it gives me some more content to put up on here, as you might have seen. So currently I'm sitting on £2,621 in my two stocks and shares accounts, and I'm approximately £112 up in just 2 or 3 months of doing this. Already I've gained that much, and you know that would have taken me 2 years if you think of Funding Circle, and potentially I'd have lost some money doing so. So the plan is, now that I've come to my decision, I don't want to do it, as I've already said, all at once. I'm just going to each month withdraw a little bit from Funding Circle and move it across and see what shares are going for fair value in Freetrade or 212. So I get like maximum impact for my earned money, to be fair. And then hopefully over time that'll see me move all my money into these two, giving me at least £5,121, hopefully barring any losses or shocks to the market. And then hopefully I'll be able to add to that over the coming months with my salary as well, and save that money included in there, and really get this cycle of dividend returns going, and hopefully get it compounding quicker. And that's the main motivator in moving from there to there. I still don't want to, I'm not bad-mouthing Funding Circle or anything, don't get me wrong, it is a really good app. I'm not saying that it's bad or it's rubbish or anything like that. It's just not offering enough returns for me right now. When I've done all this research, I think I can move my money around and manage my money a little bit better than they can. It's quite a hands-off investment, and if that's what you're looking for, just to put your money in what is a high-interest savings account, and that's a big winner. If you don't want to do any research and you just want to let them do it all for you and cycle it over 10 or 15 years or whatever you want to do, that is a big win anyway. I'm not saying they won't make you money, I'm just saying there's more money to be made if you manage money yourself. But it does take research to do this. If you're not an expert, I'm not saying that I'm an expert either, by the way, But if you're not an expert, definitely edge towards either ETFs in Freetrade or Trading 212, or just go for Funding Circle and just let somebody else do it for you. Your returns will be slightly lower, but you should still make good money. And yeah, so on top of that, I am going to actually leave £500 in my Funding Circle account and just let that grow and almost forget about it because I can, and just let that grow and see what that ends up with, and then hence maybe in 10 years' time it might make it to £800, £1,000 or something like that, and I can take it out and potentially move that across again, or I can treat myself to something, etc. Shout out to all my new subscribers. We've managed to get over the 300 subscriber mark. That's a big mark. That's a big win. In fact, I think we might be even higher than that now, closing in on 330, which is a third of the way there to 1,000 subs. And I've crossed 600 followers on Instagram as well. And while I'm here, I might as well plug my referral link for the Trading 212 app. If you want a free share worth up to £100, then click the link in the bio below, and we can share a free share that's worth up to £100, and you can both give our portfolios a kickstart. That's it, guys. I'll see you around in the next video. Goodbye.